Supervisor Gromek, who is also not here, and had mentioned he might show up a little later. See what happens. Hi. Wait. I may need that later. My name is Ralph Sabatini. I am the change of pace, and I'm not a lawyer. My wife and I, Barbara, moved to Rockland County 40 years ago to Valley Cottage, Mountain View condominium to be exact, which I'm now beginning to think is the Ellis Island of Rockland County with the number of people that come in through there. 5 years later, we moved with our 2 kids to New City, the house we're in now. We've been there 35 years. Our kids, both of them, were educated in Clarkstown schools before graduating from Clarkstown North and going off to college. They're back. They each have 2 kids of their own. One's in Norwood, one's in Japan, and we see them just about every weekend. Well, Barbara sees them every day, but I see them just about every weekend. While Barbara was doing most of the heavy work of raising the kids, I was busy with a career in business. Nearly 40 years. I started with 10 years in public accounting, the boot camp of financial people, and then went to CBS, Publishers Clearinghouse, and Brill Media Venture, with some stops in between for consulting. I was the chief financial officer for 4 different companies, and there isn't much I haven't done or seen or learned in the financial world. I'm new at politics. Other than 40 years in the corporate world, where just like here, they'll kill you for a nickel. Other than that, I have no political experience. I do have business experience. And in this 5-month journey towards a political career, I have found that we have a dysfunctional government in this town. The town, from everything I see and everything I hear and everything I've learned, spends too much, wastes too much, regulates too much, and taxes too much. York stole my thunder. I was going to give you a breaking news story about ranking changing. Shabu Abraham and I, who knock on doors every night, tell people that we are the 5th highest, and now we have to change our story because we're now the 4th highest county in the country. Clarkstown, of course, is still number 1 within the county. Not something we should be terribly proud of. Clarkstown taxes, I think most of you are aware of these numbers, but let me just throw them out. On a person-for-person basis, Clarkstown taxes are 50% higher than Ramapo's. Ramapo, arguably the most corrupt town in Rockland, and 18% higher than Orangetown. The waste is extraordinary. It's up and down the line. We're going to attack it all when we're elected. And by the way, we also have the highest paid police department, I believe, in the United States. But if it's not the highest paid, it's close to it. Another problem that has to be looked at. If you'll indulge me for a minute, I want to tell you a little story. It's a history story, but it's very interesting, I think. And you might learn as much as I did from it. In 2002, Holbrook was the supervisor. In Holbrook, in what the Rockland Courier, now defunct newspaper that died when its owner died, called it the Great Clarkstown Giveaway. And the Great Clarkstown Giveaway consisted of a $500,000 surplus. I'm not sure how they consider it a surplus, but that $500,000 is given to 8 people in town government, all appointed, as special recognition. They said it was payment for vacation and sick time that was accumulated. I say it was a bonus. And in addition, at the same time, they signed an agreement with these same 8 people called the Special Bargaining Unit. which became a member of the CSEU, or the Civil Service Employees Association. These people got roughly $4,000 to $5,000 each in raises that year. They got guaranteed increases for the next 4 years of 4%. They were told you no longer have to work 35-hour weeks. You can work whatever you need to work to run your department. There was no limit on vacation, there was no limit on sick days, and there was no limit on health care.
I'll take that job.
Good job, right? But you have to be appointed, you can't be elected.
Shucks.
Now, you might wonder, these 8 people are now down to 6 because of a retirement, and I guess 1 dropped out. Why I'm telling you what happened in 2002? Well, this is a 4-year contract, and the first time that contract came up, it was approved unanimously by the board. That board is the current incumbent board. The next time it came up was 2010. That's last year. And in 2010, the board, with some minor changes to the contract, once again approved it unanimously. The changes they made were that where sick days could not be carried over, they changed that to the ability to accumulate 270 sick days. They won't be paid for, of course, but you can accumulate 270 sick days and take them at full pay. Vacation is still unlimited. The hours haven't changed. You can work whatever hours you deem necessary to do your job. I'm not sure how that's measured, but certainly 35-hour work weeks are not required. Healthcare, which they were paying 15% towards, like every other member in the CSEA, was dropped. They no longer have to pay anything towards the healthcare. And the healthcare, by the way, is good for life and for their families. This is a 4-year contract which, if I'm elected, or when I'm elected, I will make every effort to break. Because that's the most blatant example of the waste in Clarkstown that goes on. There are more, but I don't want to bore you, and nor do I want to scare you any more than I have to. We heard from Marge that elected officials can't cut their own salary or take salary cuts. They can if the board approves. And I will cut my own salary. And I will ask people to cut their salaries or cut their department expenses by 10%. It's done in business all the time. It can be done in government much easier because there's way more waste and fat in government generally than there is in business today. There are towns out there, not us right now, but there are towns out in the U.S. that are declaring bankruptcy because they can't meet the benefits that they have to pay out. Bankrupt. And when they go bankrupt, they're in a negotiating position that they've never had before, where they can tell unions, we can't afford it, we're going to give you a minimum, take it or leave it. There are some towns, in fact, that are saying we can't afford it, we're giving you nothing. Clarkstown, I know you'll be told, cut their taxes this year for the first time. Those taxes were cut by the release of funds from a reserve which was established when Clarkstown sold the transfer station and banked $17 million. Well, I could cut taxes that way too, but they did not cut costs. Thank you.